So doing anime YouTube, or AniTube as some call it, I get questions a lot in reference to which is better, manga, anime, what the pros, what are the cons. So I'm gonna actually sit down and talk about each, pros and cons of each, side. And it's gonna be up to you to decide on which you actually prefer. So let's hop right into it. So for those who don't know what anime is, it's Japanese cartoons in a literal definition. But when I talk about anime, I'm talking about like Yu-Gi-Oh! Inuyasha, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, those old classic ones. For those who, have an idea, watched WB Kids and saw stuff from growing up. And manga is basically the comic form of it, which, they read right or left to right, kind of like that. Just, you get the idea. So a lot of people come to me and say, hey, which one should I get into? Should I get into the manga of One Piece, or should I watch the anime? They're both so long. Should I don't know, watch Log Horizon, or should I read the manga for it? Which don't, because there's only one volume of it, and the rest is about the West Wind Brigade, which really isn't the main story. That's a different point. But so today I'm going to take a dive into exactly what the pros and cons are. So we're going to start with anime. With anime, we'll talk with the pros first. Obviously, the first pro is you can see your favorite fight scenes and iconic scenes visualized. With that, I'm talking about most iconic fight scenes like in Inuyasha, from Bleach. You can see these big moments that are like, oh my god. I think one of the most iconic moments that people know about is from Dragon Ball Z, when Goku goes Super Saiyan for the first time. One of the most iconic power scenes that has been in anime. Another one would be Luffy going to Gear 2. And as of recent, Gear 5. Another one would be Bleach, when Ichigo first unlocks his Bankai. There's a lot of these inspirational, important things that you can finally see animated. And then the same is for when, love scenes. So like in Say I Love You, when the main couple finally, they finally get together and there's weird awkward moment. But it's the sense of reality, and you can actually see the portray and facial expressions come across in a natural way. There's so many good positives with it being animated. Another pro is that there are anime exclusives. IGPX, which is one of my favorite racers. It's very unknown. I might end up doing a video on it. But IGPX is an anime exclusive. There's no light novels. There's no manga on it as far as I know of. Or as far as I heard of, there hasn't been any plans for a anime or a manga on it. But you can get stories that aren't told in manga or light novel form. There are other examples out there, but this is the one I have on hand that I can show you. So when it comes to anime, there's also like anime movies like Porco Rosso, the Ghibli films. There's not like an anime or manga form. Some of them there are. I like Weathering for You. I know it's not a Ghibli film, but it's an anime movie that ended up, either coming from a manga or has one. Can't remember which order in, but it's in multiple formats and multiple media, including light novel. So what I'm saying is there are anime exclusive, and I'll bring this up as another pro for manga, that there are manga exclusives. We'll get to it. With anime, especially now, it is readily more available, which is another pro. You can go to Crunchyroll, Funimation, you can set the high seas. There's plenty of different places on TV. On Toonami, they do Toonami. I mean, Pokemon's everywhere, regular on Cartoon. It's way more readily available. And as 2023 comes to an end going into 2024, a lot of anime stuff has become more mainstream. You're talking about Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, Spy X Family. This is becoming way more readily available for people, which also causes way more merch. And what happens is the popularity is increased because of the anime. Anime increases popularity of certain shows. Whether elitists like it or not, it's opening up to the public, making it way more accepted, which is why anime cons and everything are getting bigger. So anime being readily more available and more on a public format such as TV and the internet is a very big plus. Now with con, collecting anime is very expensive. This was $50 itself, and it's old. If we start talking about older stuff, it comes down to distribution, it comes down to how many print runs, it comes down to, there was only this copy form made in Blu-ray, but there was 500 made, in DVD. When it comes to collecting, it becomes very expensive, especially when a new season comes out, and what One Piece does when it comes out, making part whatever, especially if they come out in like part 1 for $50, part 2 for $50, and it's a 13 episode series. it's expensive. Collecting anime is very expensive. Now, true, you can go set the high seas for it, but it's not really recommended because it doesn't support, you know, the animators, which is another con of the anime industry and anime as a whole. Is a lot of the animators don't get paid enough, and it's something that's out there. It's readily well known. Go do research if you don't know about it. But a lot of animators, if they're not part of big like studios or big IPs, they don't get paid well. That's why I say if you can buy it from the original source, do that because it supports the animators. There's a channel on YouTube. Hold on a second while I look it up. It's called the Anime Dormatory channel. They go into support, or their mission is to support animators. They talk about what they do, how they actually have dorms for animators to come in and do stuff because they don't get paid a lot, so they have cheap rent. Go look into it. It's a very good channel. I'm subscribed to it, and I'll put a link down in the description below if you want to dive more into it. It's Tokyo based. It's a non-profit. Please donate. They really deserve it. Let's go into the manga now and talk about the pros and cons of that. With manga, it's basically the next step from light novels. And we're not talking about light novels. Light novels are great, but a lot of people don't like reading just long text. They like pictures to go along with the story. So with manga, one of the big pros is you can see the first step in developing these fights. You can see these feelings. You also can get more inner dialogue that you don't get in a lot of animes because they cut it. So with anime or manga, you get more of the whole picture. You get why some things happen. Some things go into more detail. Another big thing with manga is the story continues. For example, Trinity 7. I love that show. I love the manga. It's 13 episodes plus 2 movies. The manga's on volume 27, 28. It goes way past it. Triage X, 13 episode. Goes on to volume 24 before the guy died. And same with High School DxD, or not High School DxD, High School of the Dead, the other one he did. It goes past the 13 episodes, not far because as he was working on it, he passed away. But you get more of what happens past it. So manga continues the story past what the anime does, which is why I highly recommend people go read the anime. And if you want to get ahead of big shows that are going on right now, like One Piece, Bleach, the manga's done. You can go ahead and get way past it and finish it before the 1,000-Year Blood War's done. With One Piece, we're past Wano in the manga. It is on to some new thing that I don't want to talk about or spoil about, but it has to deal with Dr. Vegapunk. Like, it goes past it. Same with a bunch of different things like, I don't know, Monster Musume, that's another one. Has like 14, 15, 16 volumes, go past the 13. There's a lot of series out there that goes past what is written or what is shown in the animation. And it's because either there's a bunch of reasons why they don't get second seasons, or they get dropped, or there's a studio there's just a bunch of different reasons. So reading the manga carries on the story. The third pro for this is it's cheap readily. You can go to secondhand stores, find older manga, find newer manga. I have a local bookstore that softback is $1, hardback is $2. I've gotten plenty of manga from that bookstore and started series, like especially older ones, like Wild Adapter or Cursed Sword. Stuff like older stuff like that I found at that store. Now, when it also comes to websites, you like Right Stuff or Barnes & Nobles, you can get them cheaper than their original listed price. Whether you be part of a membership for Barnes & Nobles or catching a good deal with Right Stuff, like they usually have bundles like 1 through 5 for $20 or $25, knocking half the price down because manga's usually base is 10, can go up to $15 to $20 sometimes. It's a lot cheaper to collect with manga than it is anime DVDs. So just keep an eye out for the deals and you can collect full series. Heck, on eBay, there's people selling lots for like very cheap. I know Food Wars is 36 volumes, $10 a piece. You could usually get a lot for like $150 for the whole thing. So $150, you get the whole thing. Now, speaking of pricing, we'll go into the negatives because collecting can also be a negative. Now, books get expensive, especially older ones. For example, it's called Gaho or something. The original series the JoJo Bizarre Adventure creator has. It has like I think 10 volumes or something. Each volume for it, because it was a low print, it's like $150. Getting into old manga is very expensive. Getting into new series can add up over time, but that also, you got to take the pros and cons with this, because like I said, you can get past what's going on, or you might have a series that isn't animated yet. And it's another pro and con, that there's a lot of manga out there that never gets animated. Like with Angel Beats, a very classic one that a lot of people get into. This Angel Beats talks about before Angel Beats begins. It's like the precursor to it. It talks about when she got here, when a couple of the other brigade members get there. It talks about how coming across Angel, talks about how they deal with certain situations, how they build up this army. There's plenty of manga that never get, you know, published. Right now, there's one I'm reading that called Kingdom of Z, which is finished. I don't believe it's getting anime. It might. At the time of this recording, there's one called My 100 Girlfriends I Really, Really Love. I believe it's confirmed as of recent, but it's been out for a hot minute, and it's now just getting an anime. My Room is a Dungeon Rest Stop is another one I'm reading, and I did a review on that doesn't have an anime. There's a lot of manga series that does not get animated. So that's my pros and cons of this whole situation. Each one's a give or take. I do both. I collect a little bit of anime here and there, working with Boxer-chan. If I see something interesting or unique, I pick it up for me and I buy it from the store. There's so many different things you can go about collecting. Boxer-chan's another good one. I could talk about this another time, which I'm probably going to do a video around holiday season talking about collecting and where to get from and stuff like that. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know about your opinions on anime and manga. Which one's better? And I'm probably going to end up doing a series where I go in a deep dive where I talk about the pros and cons versus series versus manga. So like I might do Trinity 7 versus, you know, anime versus manga, or Triage X, anime versus manga. I could do Log Horizon, but I mean, it's kind of one-sided because it only has the one manga. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.